Welcome to Double Take, a half hour we set aside for things in life worthy of much more than a second glance. My name is Lisa Gulliver, and today we're looking at the Theatreworks of New Milford latest production, Assassins by Stephen Sondheim and John Weidman. This production is worth a second look for a number of reasons. One, it's being the most recent release from Sondheim and one of the most respected writers and composers of this generation in the theater. Second, the subject matter of this play, a very dark musical comedy about the assassination of presidents, proves to be an ambitiously daring production for a community theater, especially during an election year. Today, we'll take a brief look at the history of the theater's works of New Milford, talk to some of the people involved in the production, and take a peek at the rehearsal and a performance of Assassins. We're down here in New Milford, Connecticut at Theatreworks, and I'm meeting here with a Ms. Carrie Fernands Camacho, what is your position that you have down here?
Well, I do media liaison and public relations and publicity for the theater. That's what my job is right now. I've done it for about 10 years here. I've also directed here and produced shows and acted, but I don't act very much anymore.
Okay. From what we understand, you guys have had some interesting productions in the past, I might say risque. Can you tell us a little bit about the kind of productions that you attract here?
Well, what we try to do is a variety of things. We do things that people normally see elsewhere, things that we think, perhaps are important for our audience to see, challenging things, challenging for us and challenging for them.
And
our audience.
Speaking of Assassins,
Yes.
which is now in production, can you tell us a little bit about what's happening with that?
Well, Assassins opened on September 18th. It is a musical, Stephen Sondheim's, John Weidman's newest musicals. It is about the men and women who have attempted to assassinate or who have assassinated U.S. presidents. A very controversial show, a daring show, a difficult show, and probably the most complex show that we have ever done in this theater. We don't have wings, we don't have fly space, we don't have backstage. So it's normally done on a revolve, which we cannot do. So we had to design it completely differently. It was a wonderfully successful show, but we have the New England premiere. It was only done 3 or 4 times besides New York before we did it here. And it's a really different show.
You had mentioned before to me that since the different characters are from different periods of time, that you do a different scene.
Yes, it's a 17-scene show. It is not a play that goes from one place to another that follows. John Wilkes Booth comes in the beginning, but then so does John Hinckley, who attempted to kill Reagan. And the assassins meet in a time and place that have nothing to do with them. Now, 1930s, 1865. So, and of course, these people never met. One of the final scenes is John Wilkes Booth and Lee Harvey Oswald in the Book Depository in Dallas, which of course didn't happen. But it's a mix-up. It's a very humorous show, as well as a very sad show in the end. That Stephen Sondheim wrote this play, wrote the lyrics and music for this play, with such an unusual theme, has met with sometimes by critics and by audience as well, is that they don't really quite know what to make of it.
It's going to be a little bit of everything. Some people will probably be a little bit put off by the show. Other people, I think, are going to find it surprising, challenging, at times heartbreaking. It has, for a musical, a very serious base, a very human base. Something that challenges, makes you laugh, maybe makes you cry, maybe hurts. Nothing in the show is tacked on, contrived, manipulative. It reaches out, says something, and allows the audience to feel whatever way it wants to. I don't believe it was constructed to elicit specific emotion.
It's a taboo subject. It's a sensitive subject. And yeah, you're going to have to make some daring moves when you do something like this. But it's something that I think is timely enough. I think it's a side of history that should clearly be seen. We need to look at both our dark side and our light side in this country to get an idea of what's going on completely. Sure, it's got great value, and it's obviously a great work by Sondheim and Weidman. You know, they've really put something together extraordinary here.
His music is so unpredictable and so different and so varied. His lyrics are so intricate and intelligent. It's not your standard Moon, June kind of rhyming thing that you get that are kind of insulting in most musicals that you go see. You don't just sit and watch a Stephen Sondheim musical, you really live it, and you really about it for days and days afterwards, and you know, with this show, years and years afterwards.
This is our dressing room, costume rack, storage for our lights. It's everything. We have 17 people in this cast, so it's jammed back here. Everybody has to look after their own props. There's not much in here. You know, when you come down to a theater, it's not the glamour that we think it is, and then when you see backstage, you see that it really isn't glamour. If there's any glamour at all, it is on the stage and what the audience sees.
Produces a decent character.
That's
Are
right.
you going to take me upstairs now?
Yeah, I want to show you the upstairs. I want to show you the stage, and the auditorium.
What goes on with Assassins?
Yeah.
Regretting, there are those who like extremes. There are those who thrive on chaos and despair. There are those who keep forgetting that the country's built on dreams. People listen. They may not want to hear it, but listen. Once they think it's gone someday.
It's not one of those average feel-good My Fair Lady Brigadoon things where you leave, you know, with an up feeling. You could leave here after the show with a down feeling, you know, not a negative feeling, but just not a thing where it's going to make you go away, you know, smiling. It's going to make you go away thinking, and that was important to me.
I think getting back to Sondheim as a writer and a lyricist, he makes me, in particular, have to stretch as a musician, as a performer, and in this case, a musical director. You have to be very prepared, and that's the greatest benefit. So I go on to the next project having learned a great deal from the score.
And this is Carrie, and she's been great today. I want you to know that it'll be, how long will this be running?
It's running through the 17th of October, Friday and Saturday nights, plus 2 Sunday afternoons.
Hey, fella, feel like you're a failure. Failures on your tail, your life run off for good. Hey, fella, feel misunderstood. Come here and feel a president. Okay. What's so wrong? My boss is reaching from me. Trouble with your economy. This will bring you some relief. Here, give us some hail to the chief. You give me prize. Anything you want. I want prize. You give me prize. Only $8. Cheap for anything you want. Everybody's got the right to be different. Even though at times they go to extremes. If you keep your goal in sight, you can climb to any height. Everybody's got the right to their dreams. Yo, baby, looking for a thrill. The Ferris wheel is that way. No, baby, this requires skill. Oh, you want to give it a try? Geez, lady, give the guy some room. The bumper cars are that way. Please, lady, don't forget the dusty